I went to my first strip club.
Do you think there are enough good men out there for good women?
What do you think men need?
A lot of beer.
I really love rugby, guys.
Thighs the size of tree trunks.
Oh my God. I'm so happy to be alive at the same time as you.
Brian,
Can you make me pancakes topless? Hello, besties, and welcome to Boy Problems, the show where we answer your boy questions from the internet. I am joined by I feel like you're a public good at this point.
A public
You
good?
are like a very expensive and important piece of art inside a library of Congress.
What?
Yeah. Nick is the...
That's like
Nick
the nicest I've ever been objectified in my life.
You are the internet's official boyfriend. You're our emotional support safe man.
That's like, there's like 2,500 men in line in front of me that have that title.
Name one, except Pedro Pascal.
But he still is.
Well, you're right. I think you're better than Pedro Pascal because you're real. Pedro Pascal is like a fantasy. I mean, I'm sure he's really nice. You're like, it's not based on a fantasy. It's based on you because you share your secrets and your fears and every week. Nick just put out an amazing album.
Double A-side.
A-side.
So it's just 2 songs.
Oh, that's cool.
We're
very
working on
cool.
an album, but it's just, 2 songs.
And the name of the band for everyone should go check it out on Spotify. It's called...
That's so nice. It's called Anyhow.
And
Anyhow, the band on Instagram.
It's amazing. Everyone should go follow it. And Nick, you should play something.
Boy problems, you've got them, I got them too. We all have them in some little way. Boy problems. Ooh. All right, I gotta read an actual. I just made that
Nick.
up, but I gotta do a real song.
Can we? I feel like I'm with Mozart. This is what it was like.
Okay,
to see Mozart at the age of like when he was a toddler, just like write a sonnet.
This is a comedy show. Now I know for sure.
That was insanely beautiful. I'm already in tears. Can you keep going?
Yeah. What do you want to play?
Let's answer a boy problem.
Ooh, I'll answer it in song.
Okay, I love that. Do I have to be cool to go to a strip club with my boyfriend?
You don't have to be cool to go to the strip club with your man. You just have to feel comfortable seeing him with other girls there.
But the girls are butt naked.
Even if the girls are naked.
Even if they have better boobs than you?
If he loves you, then it doesn't really matter.
Okay.
But also, why does he want to bring you to a strip club?
That's a really good question.
Actually, now I'm starting to think about this. Having second thoughts. Maybe you should dump him.
Dump him.
Dump him.
Dump him. That would be a good name. That's a good episode title.
The song's called Dump.
Dump him.
Remember when I took a dump on your show?
I remember. If you weren't there for this episode, we recorded an amazing episode and Nick had a little bit of sweat on his nose, on his little nose tip. People noticed and they were like, I knew his tummy was hurting because...
Wait, someone said that?
Yeah.
That's so funny.
And then
so funny.
After the episode, Nick went, I have to go to the bathroom. I'm going to go downstairs. And I was like,
mayhem.
And I was like, why would you go downstairs? Just go in my hotel room. Like, what are you talking about? And then he resisted. He was like, it's a number 2. And I was like, we're best friends. Like, you can take a number 2 in my
I said number
presence.
2. Oh, I did say that.
And then he did take a dump.
4 years old.
And it was
number 2.
I'm taking a number 2, mommy.
I go potty. Poo-poo.
Can you go potty on your
No,
own?
I can't. I feel like this is like turning into like a kinky. Yeah.
Do people get off of doing like mommy stuff in the bedroom?
I don't know.
That's crazy. Actually,
Yeah, that's
you know,
actually really
I did
crazy.
join an app. I've never said what it is, but people know what it is. It's an app for like physical connection. And there was a guy who... I deleted it, by the way, so I can talk about it now. But he was like, I only want to breastfeed. I have a breastfeed kink. And then there was just photos of him. I don't know if I'm allowed to say that. I guess I'm not his, like, it's not like there's no HIPAA.
No, you're
law
not his
around.
doctor.
Yeah.
You're just his mommy. All right, so he was like, I like him. I like the milk.
I guess. I mean, I'm not surprised. That's a fetish. I really am not.
It's a fetish for everything.
But also, like, of all the things that you're going to do, it hurts nobody. If everyone's consenting.
I mean, unless he's really going at it, that might hurt.
Oh, they want to chew on the boob?
Chew on the boob.
Yeah, chew. I mean, yikes. So last weekend, I did something really special. I went to my first strip club. I'd never been to a strip club before. And this was a very, I don't know if we can call it feminist. It's a very female empowered strip club. It's a strip club that puts women at the center. I don't know how to call it. What do we call it? A strip club that is respectful of women.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Right.
So where they all should be.
That's right. That's right, Nick. So I go to this strip club. A friend of ours was having a birthday party. And basically the women aren't totally naked. It's like a burlesque sort of more show, which I'd never seen either. So this was like my first time, just at one of these events. Me and my friend Kendall were just like seeing all of these women there with their boyfriends. We were like the only two single girls there, which honestly, if you got in LA, everyone's in a relationship. It's pretty crazy.
Really?
It's just like there's more partnered people, I would say. So we go to this strip club and we start noticing, like, we're like, wait, would you be comfortable being here with your boyfriend? Like your boyfriend, like throwing dollar bills at a woman doing like a really sexy show. And we asked our friend who's dating one of our really good friends. And we were like, tell us the truth. Is there any part of you that's jealous or like insecure or like, is this really enjoyable for you? And she was like, yeah, I feel like it's empowering. And we both were like, when you give a look to someone and you don't even need to say anything, you're on the same page. We were like, baby girl, like, and maybe this is so patronizing. Maybe I am totally wrong, and maybe it is super empowering to go to a strip club with your boyfriend. I just don't think I am built for that. I don't know. You would think it's cool if your girlfriend's like, let's go to a strip club, and like, I'm cool with that. Right? It's like a cool girl thing.
I don't know. I think it's cool that they're doing it together. Like, it's not like he's like...
Yeah, he's going.
He's like, honey, I'm going out with the boys. We're going to the Crazy Horse downtown. You know, it's not like that. So I think if it's something they both like to do, it's just, to each their own.
Right, you're right.
Kind of thing.
You're right.
But I understand why you wouldn't want to do that. That's totally understandable.
But Nick, would you want to go to a male strip club with your girlfriend?
Really good question. I think it actually might be kind of fun.
But what if the guys aren't gay? Because I think it's not comparable. I have a real issue with this. I think it's a public policy issue. It's that we do not have strip clubs for women that are comparable to strip clubs for men. It's just not equal because when men go to a strip club, it's mostly women. I'm sure many of them identify in all kinds of different ways, but typically these women are dating or interested in men or attracted to men. Yeah. And the reverse is not true. When you're a woman, I remember being in Montreal and this place called Chippendales. Wait, was it called Chippendales? No, it was like kind of a Chippendales like version. Yeah. What was it called? Oh my God, I can't remember the name of the club, but it was like a male strip club. All my friends were like, let's go, blah, blah. And then I remember looking at the promos and stuff like that. And again, this is like, I'm not like, maybe some of them weren't, but typically a lot of them are sort of gay. And I'm like, but what's the point? No, it's not the same. Like, what if you went to a strip club and they were all gay women? Wouldn't that be like less exciting? Or like interesting? No. You just like in it for the show?
Yeah, I think it'd be fine. I don't know. I don't go to strip clubs. I've been to one like years ago.
Green flag.
But
green flag.
No. I don't know. Whatever. But also like, if you go as a straight guy, this club where the women are stripping. Uh-huh. Let's say your girlfriend's bi. Maybe she's into it too.
And that doesn't feel threatening to you in any possible way.
I just think if you're going, it's a fun thing. Again, not something I'm trying to do. Not on my top list of date night things. Although it's kind of sounds fun though. Like it would be a fun, because I feel like it would be a fun thing to like laugh and joke around and have like a good time and
No, and we've talked about this on the show. Some people get off their partner being turned on, even if it's not by them.
Nah, this is not even funny.
Tell it.
No, it's like so dumb. It's the dumbest.
Say it.
So that cucking, in a way. Yeah. But like, this is the dumbest thing ever. But like, I love like musical gear and like guitar stuff and like stuff. And I love it so much. Like other musicians use my gear because I just like love my stuff so much. Like I'm like, oh, it's so cool. And like, I want people to experience it. Yeah. So I have this thing where like, now I'm just like, I like cuck my gear out to my friends. And I call it cucking. Like, I'm like, please play my guitar. I want you to use it for a show. Please. It's just, it would look so good. It would be so cool.
It turns you on.
I just think it's so fun. It doesn't even turn me on. I don't, that's why I didn't want to say the story.
It's like a non-sexual kink.
It's the dumbest dumbest thing I've ever. I guess I just made a crazy.
No,
I don't know why
I
I said
think
that.
It's really sweet. I like when people use my camera, for example. They're like, "Oh my God, use it," and it's put to good use. Or when someone, it's like maybe how women feel when a friend borrows your dress. Yeah, and you're like, "Oh my God, it looks so." Cuck out your dresses.
Yeah. Oh, it would be cool to start using that word more often for like other things outside of sex.
I agree. I think
maybe we can start using that word.
Cucking in general.
Yeah.
Would you feel happy about someone using your bed, like sleeping in your bed?
Yeah, I actually do. If it's a good friend, if it's someone I don't really know and they're like, I'm coming through and I'm not in town, I'm like, okay. But if it's someone, yes. Yeah. Like if it's someone I'm just like, especially if I know that they would do the same for me.
Right, right.
Absolutely. Cuck out my bed.
Cuck out of my bed. Do you get jealous?
In general?
Yeah.
Of course. Yeah.
Because that's what the strip club thing is about. Fundamentally, let's be honest. Like I am insecure. And you know why? I'm insecure because of my boobs. I'm insecure.
You've told me that before.
Yeah, you did say something that made me feel better about it.
What did I say?
You said What'd you say? Oh yeah, this was the conversation. I don't know. I put down my boobs for some reason, and then you said, "What are you talking about?" And I said, "Well."
For a second, I thought you meant like I was holding them, and then I put them down. I was holding that. I just said enough, and I put down my boobs. I slammed my boobs on the table. And then I lost them somewhere. No, so I put down my boobs emotionally, spiritually, which is not cool. I like my body a lot more than I used to. I'm much more accepting of who I am and what I look like, and I just think that like comes with age and just like a lot of therapy. But I had really low self-esteem, and I had really bad body image, especially when I was pretty young as a teenager, about my boobs because. Okay, so I played in this underwater hockey team, this like all male. Basically, when I was a teenager, I was 16 years old, and our friend Sam started a underwater hockey league in Montreal. There was only one place in the entire city that would do it. We basically played with like middle-aged men and like us, and it was me and my two other female friends that were just like teenagers. And so we were playing with these guys. It was so rough. It's the roughest sport ever. It's like very, very demanding and extreme. So, but you're in your bathing suit. And I remember one of my friends who was doing it with us had like a really beautiful figure, like just the most beautiful hourglass, like perfect boobs. Like she was tall, beautiful, and she was, one of my best friends. But at one point I heard the guys talk in the locker room, LOL locker room talk. And the guys in the locker room said, wouldn't it be the perfect woman if it was this friend, Radia on top and Liz on the bottom? Like cut Liz's top, put Radia on the top, and then you have the perfect woman. God. And it really fucked with me. It really screwed me up. That would fuck with anyone. Right? That's so shit. I'm so sorry that happened to you.
No, that's okay. I appreciate it. And then I just like, in a movie, our lengths at the beginning of the practice, she would be coming my way and I'd be, have my goggles on, we'd be swimming and I'd just be staring at her boobs. Like I would just stare at them and be like, and I really wanted basically like surgery. Like I was like, I want bigger boobs. And it never came. And so I, again, put down my boobs in your presence a couple of weeks ago. You were like, what are you talking about? And I was like, well, of course I know that it would be better if they were bigger. Like don't like bullshit me basically. And you were like, no.
No, seriously. Yeah.
So can you make this argument? I think for all womenkind.
I don't think it's bigger is always better. Now I'm on public.
Yeah, you're on the record.
This is just out there for everyone. Well, no, I think people appreciate boobs of all shapes and sizes. There, I said it to the internet. People do. Everyone has their preferences. It doesn't, you know what I mean? I think that the comparison I always go to with guys is height or whatever. Except I do actually know that I know some women who actually do like guys who are shorter. They just do. They just prefer that. But, whether or not the stats add up to like it's equal in terms of that height and boobs or whatever, like that's the thing, is that it really just doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. At
the end of the day. It just doesn't, you know?
I love when you said that. You can tell when a friend is like giving you a pep talk versus telling the truth. And I'm pro both, but sometimes they intersect. And I felt like that in that moment. I was like, oh no, he actually is saying that it doesn't matter. And I just, in my mind, I was like, well, bigger is always better. And, because of my fucked up experience. And the fact that like, I wish they were bigger. Do you have something in your body you would want to change? You are perfect.
No. Oh my God.
You have the perfect bod.
No, not true at all. Yeah, of course. I wish I have a big head.
No, I love your your head.
I got a big ass head.
I love your head.
Yeah, of course. I used to actually be really hung up on height. I really wanted to be like 6 or whatever. Whatever, or just 6 foot. I'm not 6 foot.
You give 6'5" energy.
I'm not. I think we're the same height.
No, that's not true.
Yeah, we're 5'10".
I'm 5'9". You're taller than me.
Maybe. I was gonna say one thing too.
Yeah.
That to all the people out there who are struggling with insecurities.
Yeah, and by the way, I don't want to make it seem like I act like boobs are. It's really about my boobs. Basically, I thought I would look better if my boobs were bigger.
Right. Here's the thing that might help to keep in mind for people who are insecure about things about their body is that the people you admire and look up to, the Kim Kardashians of the world. I'm not saying you guys do that or whoever. The people who have all the money in the world and are doing their thing and they feel the same way, you know, like they do. You can see it. They want to change things about their, which is totally fine. It's their decision, and there's nothing wrong with that. But like, just it goes across the board. Everyone feels that way.
Yeah. It's so true.
To different degrees, and people do different things about it. And then some people just they learn to love the things that they don't love at first. You know,
100%.
Which you can do.
And I think there's something happening right now where everyone's starting to meld into the same face and like the same body, and you know, because of different surgeries and procedures that are available to certain people in certain economic socioeconomic groups.
Yeah.
But what's the strat?
I know what you were looking for that. and my brain did the same blip.
I know it's in French.
Status? Socioeconomic
Socioeconomic status?
Statuses? Statusi. Stati. Stradivarius. Statosaurus Rex.
Yeah, the stratosphere, the stratospheric status that people have determines what kind of surgeries they can afford. But basically, I think that now the new thing is going to be just actually looking like you. Like not, having lips that don't look like everyone else, having a body, having shapes and a natural fucking face. Like,
oh, that just reminded me.
What?
Sorry,
No.
this is a spoiler for a movie if you haven't seen it. Have you seen Materialist yet?
No.
Oh, are you going to see it?
Should I?
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
I actually liked it.
Really?
I thought it was fun. Yeah.
I heard mixed
I'm just a big fan of Dakota, and I like Pedro.
Yeah,
Pedro, he's great.
I heard there's a lot about class in that.
There it is, but there's a scene. It's kind of like a spoiler alert that is very relevant to this. But since you haven't seen it, maybe I just won't. Maybe I just won't even say it.
Okay, well,
if you've seen it, then you know exactly what I'm talking about.
If you
has
know,
to
you
do
know.
with Pedro's character.
So someone left a comment on the last episode because we mentioned OCD. The comment, we're filming with my phone, so I can't read it verbatim. But the person was like, "Hey, you shouldn't use OCD as just like a, throwaway, like it's a real mental illness unless you have it. And if you have it, can you talk about it?"
Yeah.
Do you want to talk about OCD?
They were saying you or me.
I think we both talked about having it, and
I thought we were pretty explicit about it being clinical.
Yeah. Well, maybe we
weren't.
Just so let's come out.
Yeah.
Of the OCD closet. Okay. What's the funniest way that your OCD?
Oh my God.
materializes?
Yeah. So my story with OCD is I was diagnosed when I was 12, and I might have been 11.
Cute.
Honestly, it might have been 10. I know I started going to therapy when I was like 11 for it. Went to CBT for years and actually still see the same therapist. I got so lucky. She was like one of the leading OCD for children's therapists in just the area.
Wow.
In the state, in the country. I don't even. Yeah.
That's amazing.
And so I was super lucky. My parents were like, they started seeing me doing all the rituals and the double tapping and the saying things under my breath. And like, they were like, something's up. Like, we got to research this. And then once they kind of figured it out, had an intervention with me about it.
Yeah.
They were like, so Nick, this is when I was obsessed. I still am obsessed with guitar, but I was like just started. It was like the beginning of my journey with the guitar, and I was obsessed with all this classic rock stuff. Aww. And they were like, Nick, so we know you've been struggling around the house, and you've been kind of dealing with some of this stuff, and we think you might have this thing called obsessive compulsive disorder. And as soon as I heard that, I had no idea what it was. I thought I shouldn't say it like this.
Say it.
No, I was just gonna say I thought that they were saying like I had some like serious brain damage or something, or that I was like disabled in a way that I like, obviously it's a disability. To me, I was like, oh, that means I'm like totally I've been living a lie my whole life and I have this whatever. And I was like freaking out. And then sorry, this is a long story, but basically they're no, like here's the thing. We have a list of all the people you admire who have OCD. And the first one on the list was at the time Eric Clapton. He's a little problematic in some ways, which I'll admit. Oh. Yeah, what is old rock star. But he was my favorite guitar player. And I was like, cool. All right, we're good. We're good. What do I need to do?
That is
how do I work on it? But I was
adorable.
like literally just like, I was like, oh, okay, cool.
Wait, Nick, that is so
Isn't that sweet? Yeah.
That is
cool.
incredibly sweet. That is such a beautiful framing for a child who's diagnosed with anything or any person in general.
Yeah.
How sweet.
Yeah. But to answer your question more explicitly, I've had if you open a book on OCD, and this is to the person who commented, I'm not trying to be like, all right, I've told you I had it. But like, if you open a book on like all the different types, you know, there's like, it's like music where there's like 50 million different genres and then like 100 million different bands. I had every single thing at some point.
Right.
Everything I've ever heard of, I was like, yeah, I had that.
Yep.
And I went through all these phases as if I was like just going through different genres of music.
Different seasons of OCD.
Different obsessions. You know, it was just like a factory of obsession.
Okay, got it.
And of just making up things. I was a big existential OCD guy.
Right.
What about you? What was what's your origin story?
My origin story.
How'd you find out you had superpowers?
I'm trying to remember. Because I have a wide array of issues, you know, and OCD never crossed my mind, but it was when I was doing EMDR therapy.
Can you explain that?
So EMDR therapy is where it's rapid eye process. Wait, let's get it right. I always forget what the acronym
E's the first one.
EMDR stand for eye movement desensitization and reprocessing.
Oh, I've heard of this.
It's a psychotherapy technique used to treat trauma, anxiety, and other mental health conditions. You basically are focused on a distressing memory while doing repetitive eye movements, tappings, or any bilateral sort of stimulation. So it can be like a sound thing or a hand thing. And it was through doing that I had these difficulties as a child, or like when a lot of my issues started with like insomnia, like around the age of 8 or 9, wasn't able to sleep anymore. I had all of these stomach issues, doing all these tests in the hospital. They put a camera down my esophagus when I was like 11.
Oh my God.
Yeah, like crazy stuff. And no one knew what was going on. So I had this event that happened right around that age in EMDR therapy. I sort of discovered that everything had sort of started from that moment on. And it was one night when I was 9 years old. I ate an entire bag of family-sized Doritos.
That's impressive.
Also, that was not even the first bag of chips I had eaten that day. So I was definitely using food unsupervised because of things going on in the household at the time. So I ate an entire bag of Doritos. I ate a bag of Ringolos, which if you're French Canadian, you know what I'm fucking talking about. It is like the best kind of chips. They're like rings, like barbecue rings. So you can put them as rings when you're a kid and just like eat them like, off your hands, and it's super fun.
That sounds fun.
So I ate that, and then I ate spaghetti for dinner, whatever. And so obviously I wake up in the middle of the night and I am just like so sick, throwing up. And then that night launched this very rigorous ritual that I would take part in order to prevent myself from being sick. Like it became my biggest fear in life was like throwing up.
Yep.
I definitely had whatever, there's like a name for it. Like,
I had that one too.
Yeah. I would prefer to die than to throw up. Like at that time it was constantly on my mind. I didn't even throw up that was the one time it happened. Like I grew up in a poop family, not a throwing up family. So like throwing up is not like you poop when your tummy hurts or you throw up when your tummy hurts.
Oh.
Yeah. What about you? Did you grow up in a poop family or a
I guess it was
family?
A poop, but I didn't know it was that. I didn't know it worked like that.
No, because if your tummy hurts, did your parents go throw up? Or did you say,
no.
go try and poop?
They would just say, go have Tums.
Go have Tums.
Yeah.
Okay, so you grew up in a Tums family.
Yeah.
Okay, let us know if you grew up in a poop family, a throw up family, or a Tums family in the comments. So essentially, I developed this very big fear of being sick, which now I look back and I'm like, oh, because there was a lot going on in the home, I kind of felt like I couldn't be sick. There wasn't someone to sort of take care of me. And so I developed this rituals that I needed to take part in order to be okay, for nothing bad to happen, which is a very like classic OCD thing.
Yep,
like often, sometimes it's about prayer, which I started praying to God, even though I literally grew up in a like atheist household.
Whoa, that's cool.
And I started being obsessed with God and like asking God to make sure that nothing bad happens. And then I would have to go to bed in the exact same pajamas, where I'd have to lie down in the exact same way and face the exact same side of my bedroom. I had to take for some reason, like a peppermint candy and put it on my left cheek, not the right cheek. It was like and then if I do all these things, then nothing bad is going to happen. Right. And so that was just like one piece of it. Like it was just, oh my God, I'm sorry. Yeah,
I know
it's
that.
tough.
Yeah,
especially when you're a kid, because
it's a full-time job.
It's a full
It's a full-time job. As a kid, especially as a kid.
Full-time job. You're so
It's child
right.
labor. It's like literally
It's
like
child
you're
labor.
like
OCD is child labor.
you're doing like
so much.
Yeah, you're spending all of your mental capacity trying to prevent things from happening that are not going to happen.
That are not going to happen, and that even if they happen, it's going to be okay. And that's actually what I needed. At one point, there was a stomach doctor that was like, I think she should see a therapist. Like someone kind of saw the link, but for some reason, I just never got that help. And so I just, for the longest time, and that was sort of how I also developed an eating, disorder, because I also was like, well, if I eat this and I don't eat that and I eat this, then I won't get, like, nothing bad is going to happen again. That I felt like I needed to manage all of these things in order to not be sick. And so I started being very insane about rules about certain foods that I would eat. And then I would like be bad and not eat, or eat the thing that I wasn't supposed to eat. It was just it's a lot of management, right? You're just like
so much.
Yeah. You feel at that point, if you don't know that it's OCD and you don't know what's going on, you just feel like you have so many jobs. And then I had a panic attack. And again, no one knew that it was a panic attack. I didn't know it was a panic attack. It took me until my 30s to be like, oh, that was OCD. Like I just thought I had like anxiety and had stomach issues.
Right.
But I didn't know that it was all connected. And it's really in the last few years that I've started to unpack the way that it impacts food, and that it impacts, and I still have it. Like I have to like have my sound machine at night. I have to have it to a certain level. Like I still struggle with it, I really, do you still struggle with it?
To be totally honest, not really. Thank you so much. Yeah,
That's
it's kind of a rare thing because it was so bad as a kid. I struggle with other kinds of anxiety now, and it kind of morphs over the years and stuff. In terms of the ritual behavior, very much like almost 100% gone.
That's great.
Which is great. And I know it's rare, but I think part of it I just attribute to my therapist too.
Right.
I was so lucky that I got to go through years of CBT and to kind of thing. But I will say one thing that kind of helped me, and this might not help everyone, this is just something that helped me. I don't want this to come off as it's as simple as this and then you'll be fine. Right. Obviously it's not that way, but just one little thought experiment that helped me was, I used to double tap a lot or triple tap, and I grew up in a Catholic household, so like that extra sort of Catholic guilt. And by the way, I also have this theory that I'm not like anti-religion or anything, but just like that a lot of these religions, and especially like Catholicism, or like whatever you want to believe about it, like a lot of those people that came up with these traditions had OCD. 1,000%.
Interesting.
1,000%. Like,
that's fascinating.
Even like just going to, and again, I'm not putting down the church or anything, but like even just going to confession. It's like, okay, you go to confession and you confess your sins to the priest, and then they go, okay, say 5 Our Fathers and 6 Hail Marys. That's literally an example of what you would get in a Catholic confession.
Wow.
That is exactly an OCD ritual, like
that's
to a T.
Yeah.
That's just the same as saying, okay, tap your knee 5 times and check the stove 3 times before you go to bed, just to make sure that there's not a gas leak or something.
Right.
One of the things that helped me, I'll just say, was I remember being so frustrated. I think I was like 13 or 14. So frustrated of just wasting time doing these rituals. And I was embarrassed, and I was just so frustrated, and I was doing all the therapy things, and I was trying to do the best I could and do the homework, so to speak, as you get in CBT. And I just remember having this thought where I was like, I just had this vision of me being like 85. And I just go like, if I am lucky enough to live till I'm in my 80s or whatever, do I really see myself at 85 going like checking things 3:30? And then I just go, no. And for some reason it just felt easy just to think in my head like, no, probably not when I'm 85. And then I go, okay, if not when I'm 85, that means sometime before that it'll stop. And then I kept turning back the clock, and I was like, what if I just don't do it this one time? And
just then, for today, just for today. Right now.
Yeah. And then I was just like, okay, maybe not. And then the next day, what if I just do it twice less or something, And then I go, well, if it's going to go away at some point, maybe just today I'm just not going to do it at all. And then once you just tell your brain to make these new pathways to not do it, it changes your brain.
It does.
It really does.
Yes.
And that's just one thought experiment. Again, I'm not saying just know that it's going to go away, so just don't do it.
Right.
I know it's not that easy. I'm just saying after a lot of therapy and everything, that was sort of like the North Star thought that I kept thinking of.
I love that. I love that. I mean, for me, medication was really helpful. And I had this moment, this sort of come to Jesus moment. And I love the way you talk about it in seasons. I think I experienced it that way too. I had a season where I would constantly think about exes. like to a point that was like very, again, and compulsively check there's, social media and stuff like that. I know it's like, oh, everyone does that. But like, no, the way I was doing it was like obsessive. Like it was disrupting not just my, mental health, but even like my day. Like I would like anyway, whatever. It was pretty bad. And then one night I was going to bed and I had like hurt my thumb. So my nail had, like, you're so cute. Like Nick is such an empath. If you're watching, he just went like a little like,
I'm just picturing like, there's like,
face.
I just see these little photos of you when you're little and it's just like, your thumb hurts.
No, this was like 2 years ago. No, I'm old in this memory.
Fuck that then. I'm just kidding.
But also, do you think OCD, because I chew my nails, I've like chewed my nails from birth. And I feel like that's also like OCD is honestly, the best way I can explain it for me anyways, is like, you're doing something you do not want to do, or you're thinking about something you do not want to think about. And like, you cannot help it. I think that to me, because there's so many misconceptions about it. People think, oh, it's just if you're a clean freak and you wash your hands and but it's, oh my God, it's so much.
That's like one genre. That's just like, I listen to blues music. It's like, cool. Yeah. There's a lot of other music out there. There's a lot of different music, exactly. So anyway, I'm lying in bed. I'd injured my thumb and it was kind of, when you like your nail kind of like is like, it didn't come off, but it was just a little weird. And so I had put a Band-Aid and I was lying there and then my ex was like coming into my head and I was like, oh no. And then suddenly my my nail thing came up to my head and I was like, ew, like I don't want to think about that. And then suddenly I was like, oh my God, it's the same thing. Both of those thoughts don't mean anything. I'm not thinking about my nail because it's going to fall off. Like it's actually not. It's fine. It's a compulsive thought that I'm having because I don't want to think about it. And my ex is the same thing. I'm not thinking about him because he was the love of my life and I made a horrible decision, or a lot of OCDs also like I did something bad or I made a mistake. And so you compulsively kind of like think it over and over again. And for me, it was such a liberating experience because I realized that, I know this sounds so obvious and so basic, but not to attach to the thought that I was taking these thoughts so seriously. And when you have OCD, you're like, something horrible is going to happen, or this must mean I must do this thing. And it's like, no, this is just a compulsive thought. And I can label it and I don't have to. Labeling is key.
Labeling is key.
Yeah, I love how this is the OCD podcast.
Oh my God, it's like an OCD podcast.
It's a good episode of a different.
I know, we're kind of taking it.
No, I think that's cool. Unless you're, I was going to say that I think that's a really awesome thing what you just said about and it's kind of like if you're into meditation at all, I'm very lightly into it, but that's like pretty much the main idea is you are not your thoughts.
You're not your thoughts.
You're not your thoughts.
They just are. But it's really hard to do. It's hard to do, but sometimes you'll have an epiphany. So if you're struggling, it gets better. It really does. There's all kinds of different. It does.
Never lose hope.
There is, and talk about it. For me, it was so helpful to talk about it with you and realize like, oh, this isn't like a big deal, and a lot of people have it. A lot of wonderful people like Eric Clapton and Nick Yancey, very, very popular rock star.
No.
Wait, should you do a musical transition from OCD to boy problems?
OCD, Mamma Mia, boy problems. Sometimes things just come out. We had the boy problems thing.
Now we're gonna answer some boy problems.
Talked about OCD. Now we're gonna talk about boy problems. Talked about OCD. Now we're gonna answer your boy problems. Gonna answer all your problems about your silly men. Gonna answer all your problems about your silly boys.
Woo! You're so talented. It's crazy. I am in my late 30s trying to date men while being constantly inundated with the narrative in the media, experiences my friends share with me, my TikTok algorithm, that the men in my dating pool aren't shit and will never live up to being the other half of a fulfilling and loving partnership. Lately, I feel like this narrative is becoming a self-fulfilling prophecy. Men have been oppressed by the patriarchy too, after all, and there must be a lot of men who are actively working to better themselves for their own self-actualization and also in preparation for being a good partner manner in a heterosexual romantic relationship. So how do we fight back against the narrative that is out there while also not letting men off the hook for shitty behavior? Where can we look for a different narrative that gives hope to all single heteros out there? I refuse to give up on men, as I'm seeing a lot of my peers do lately. I'm trying to answer this question myself. Your book was the only example I could find of someone who's trying to approach this narrative situation with understanding and empathy. Nice. So thank you for that.
Nice.
I'm obsessed with this question.
Yeah.
I think about this question. I've been thinking about this question a lot.
Yeah.
I think it's been a really weird time to be alive. I think it's been a really weird time to be on the internet. For me personally, I feel like my frustration with men, putting that in like quotation marks, or the man, has reached a fever pitch, mostly because of what's going on in the world, right? And we've talked about this on the show, where it's almost like my zone of tolerance is just smaller than it sort of used to be for male behavior that feels, dishonest or feels sort of subpar in terms of my standards. And I think that's not even like because of men. I think it's just the times that we're living through. Nick, would you say this, that you too, even though you are a man, feel frustrated by the behaviors of some men that are in power?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Right?
Yeah.
And so it's hard not to, I know we're like swimming in this. I write about this on my Substack of like being informed is like being awake during surgery right now. There's a lot of information coming at us about how terrible some of these men are acting, but that's not most men, right? Like I think that it's the same thing that happens with just the algorithm in general, where it is showing you things that are there to create an emotional reaction out of you so that these platforms, these people, these influencers, whatever, make more money, right? Keep you on these platforms for longer. And so a very nuanced dating story from an influencer that you follow about a date she went on with a guy is not going to perform as well than a horrible dating story about a guy that ghosted her and then dated her best friend, and, these horrible stories that we sort of hear about on the internet. And so I think that there's a disproportionate amount of attention that's on really bad stories about men. And this is not to take these men off the hook. Like, these aren't fake stories. Yeah. But I feel like I am skewed, or my perspective on men is skewed by my algorithm. Like, I truly do believe that. And I've started, like this letter writer, I've started just being more aware of what's coming into my feed. I mean, there's been this whole discourse, which we've talked about on the show, of like, is having a boyfriend embarrassing? It's an article that was in British Vogue by Shantae Joseph. And it's a article that's gone completely viral. We asked Ron Mamdani if he thought that having a boyfriend is embarrassing. His answer was no. But if you have a boyfriend that's embarrassing you, you should probably get a different boyfriend. But there's been a lot of commentary online about this piece, and a lot of women being like, finally, like, we're all admitting having a boyfriend is embarrassing, or having a man in your life is a humiliation ritual. Yeah.
What was the reason? The
reason is that ultimately she argues, and based on a lot of women that she talked to for the piece, she argues that ultimately a man will always embarrass you. Or having a boyfriend used to be a status symbol. It used to be something that women would post and sort of talk about a lot, and it would increase their sort of position in the female hierarchy. Mm-hmm. And this author is sort of arguing that the opposite is happening right now, that women who have boyfriends aren't posting their boyfriends on IG, aren't talking about their boyfriends because they believe that, like, one of them was like, it feels like Republican to have a boyfriend, which, like, because they're gonna leave them, or because they're saying things that they don't agree with, or I'll be honest, I think I related to part of it, of this fear that I have. It's like, I feel that men are, and this is gonna sound nuts, I feel like they're more emotionally volatile than sort of women are. I think women are very emotional and like very nuts in so many different ways, which I've talked about on the show, having dated women. But I think that men, there is this sense that I have, and again, maybe this is completely created and reinforced by my algorithm, and this is bad, but I do have a fear that a man is going to humiliate me. A man is going to cheat on me. A man is going to turn around. And, we know these stories, and there's statistics, right? When a woman gets sick, her male partner is more likely to leave. I mean, women cheat also, but I have more fears around that, and I've been with guys that I feel are more emotionally like reckless, like with my heart. And this is not to mean that I've never been reckless with a man's heart, but I think that, women are more sort of guarded, and I think men aren't doing great right now. I think that's a symptom, not of, often I think people will analyze that as meaning like, like, well, men hate women. I don't even think it's about us. Like, I think that a lot of men that I've been with, certainly, it's not that they hated me or it's not that they didn't have respect for me. I think they, I mean, in a way, kind of hated themselves, right? Or weren't taking care of themselves and therefore then weren't able to take care of me. And so I think, is having a boyfriend embarrassing? And this whole discourse that you're seeing online, it's a protective mechanism. Because by the way, if you really do think that men are trash, you're not talking about them. And that's what became really clear with me with For the Love of Men, which was, I was like, no, I really do love men. Like, that's why I think about them so much and I want them to change, right? Because I want them to change for the better, not just for themselves, but I mean, selfishly for me. So anyway, this is like a long-winded way of saying, I totally get it. I totally agree. I am going to give probably an unpopular take on this, which is, I do think that you should unfollow people who only have one thing to say about men, which is that they're bad. I just don't think that's an accurate.
We both know a couple people online
who are like that.
Yeah.
Yes. And, or if they're your friends, right? Or they're accounts that you still want to support and appreciate for other takes, you know, you could just hide some of their content. But I really do think you said it perfectly. It's a self-fulfilling prophecy. If you say men are trash all day, that's what your brain is going to pay attention to. You're going to pay attention to the fact that of all the bad things that they're doing, as opposed to looking for confirmation of the good things that they're doing. And I don't think that means don't protect yourself. I don't think that means go on dates with guys who treat you badly. It just becomes real if that's what you're thinking about all the time. And that's what evidence your brain is sort of collecting all day when you're scrolling, you know?
Yeah. I mean, I was just thinking too, there's clearly like a problem in the dating world with men and women.
There really is.
There clearly is a problem specifically with men.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of reasons you could say as to why and like what specifically that entails. And like, I've subscribed to the idea that is the case. Just blanket statement, umbrella. I have a lot of friends who are women who talk about how trash dating is right now. It's just like, that's my data set. That's all I know. I also have a sister. I have two sisters. One who married one of the first people she was in a relationship with, and she's been in a happy marriage. She doesn't really know about this world. Like when I talk to her about dating and stuff, she's like, what is that? I don't know anything about, like, what does it mean to, like, what's a situationship or what's this? Like, you know, so everyone has it. There's also guys that male friends of mine who have been absolutely devastated by a relationship with a woman who did them wrong. And, you know, obviously all those things can be true all at once. There can be a general big problem in terms of, you know, men and behavior, and that can exist and we can all agree to attest to it. And there can also just be, everyone has their own individual experiences. And I totally agree with what you're saying. I also think this article, I didn't read it, but I want to. I think it's a tough headline, you know, it's a buzz phrase, which I know is the way people need to work nowadays for articles. But
and I also think it's still a status symbol. I think having a boyfriend is still something that coming back to the point that I said earlier, if you are talking about how bad men are, it's because you keep thinking about them, right? If you truly were decentering men, you wouldn't be talking about the fact that you were decentering men. You'd be literally talking about something else, right? So you know what I mean? And this is the part where I really do think it's coming from, you know, we talk a lot about the ways that men have to heal. That is coming from an unhealed place in women. I know that when I'm at my most men are trash mindset is when I feel the most hurt, and when I feel that the love that I have is not reciprocated, or the love that I have wasn't honored or like respected. And by the way, I think that when we say men are trash, it sort of removes the responsibility that women have over their own lives, like the agency that women have over their own lives. It sort of puts your happiness in the hands of someone else, in the hands of a man changing. And let me fucking tell you, if your well-being is dependent on a man changing, whether that's a man in the White House or a man that you're on a date with or that you're married to, like that is going to be a very miserable life. And that applies to everything, right? Like needing something outside of yourself to change in order to feel at peace is just going at war with yourself. I'm saying this as a reminder for myself. When I'm in my men are trash era, it usually is that I'm actually not in my self-respect era, that I am going back to a guy that doesn't deserve me, that I am seeking attention from someone who's emotionally unavailable. Like it actually is about me. And it's easier to focus on men are trash, or to focus on the guy that I'm fixated on, his unavailability, his unhealed parts, and try and understand why in the patriarchy led him to not be able to be the partner that I know he can be. It sort of keeps women locked in this trap of seeing a man's potential and then sticking around for the potential, and then being frustrated when he's not meeting the potential, when it's like, it's hard hard enough for you to change. Thinking that you can change someone else, like think about how hard it is for you to change something about your personality. I mean, we were just talking about OCD and like whether if you have a, mental health issue or not, it's very hard to change habits. It's very hard to change who you are. Think about how hard it is for you to do that. Someone else doing that to you is even harder. And so I want women to be free of that burden. And I think if they take responsibility for their lives and for their dating lives, it will make them choose better men, choose men that are deserving of their time. And then I think positively reinforce their view of men because they're surrounding themselves with men who are worthy instead of, looking for men in the trash.
I have 2 follow-up questions for you. One, do you think there are enough good men out there for every woman who is quote unquote deserving of a good man? And when I mean deserving, I mean good men for good women, Do you think there's enough?
Okay, well, that's a really good question.
And then I have another question just so you know, but that's first.
I think there's a shortage. I think we're in a shortage.
Is that the crux of the problem, right?
That's the crux of the problem.
Because we're trying to say your thesis and hers and one that I'm subscribing to is just that there needs to be a reckoning or a reformation of men, so to speak, to a general improvement or whatever. So, okay, so you think that's what that is?
I think that there is definitely a shortage. And, Scott Galloway talks about this. There's a high heel effect with women. Women are, despite a lot of discrimination and a lot of injustice and the fact that we don't even have like bodily autonomy, women are doing really well in terms of, education and in the workplace to a certain extent. And just in general, like emotionally, right? Like women are more likely to go to therapy. Women are more likely to take care of their health.
That's changing though, which is good. A lot more men going to therapy.
That's right. That's right. I think we're actually in this weird period where there's a lot of things that are changing. I mean, it's why I date a lot of guys who are younger, because in many ways, what I've found, I'm generalizing, but younger men are actually more emotionally sturdy and more emotionally sort of evolved than a lot of men who are older. We're in a transition period, but that means that I think particularly women in their 30s.
You're doing a field study for us.
It's called My Dating Life. Yeah.
She's doing this for you guys.
I'm doing this for you.
She's getting the data. She's bringing it to you. She's on streaming platforms everywhere.
Yeah, I'm doing it for the plot and for the pod.
I thought that was a great answer, but I have one more question.
Do you think there's a shortage?
Yeah.
Because
I do. I don't say that in a doom sense. I say that in a sense that there's a reckoning. I think it actually is happening. And again, I haven't read this article, but just from the preview of what you told me, I think that is important, is having a boyfriend embarrassing now. But to me, starts a conversation. It's an alarm. It's a cry for help. It's saying something's wrong. Something needs to be changed. Yeah. There can be times, though, like you were saying, where like when the alarm is set or the cry for help is set, sometimes it can go to a spot where it doesn't actually help. There's pushback, and I'm not saying it's this article, but I'm saying, like there's like a call to action, and then there's the red flag, and just saying that we need, not red flag, but
there's a symbol of like we need to do something about this.
All that to say is that I think it's all important, because I think it's just anything to bring up the conversation and to get to work on.
What do you think men need?
What do I think we need? A lot of beer. And no, you're asking me what we need for ourselves or for everyone, or one and the same?
Either.
What do we need? We need the same thing women need, which is just to feel love and to give love. That's it. That's cheesy, but it's true.
It's hard.
It's the same. It's the same need at the end of the day.
It is.
Because then once you start getting the little differences of what men and women need, then you can go even further and be like, what does this specific person need? What does that specific person need? At the end of the day, we all just need and want to feel love and to be able to give it.
And I think men and women receive and give love differently.
I think so too. Yeah. My other question really quick, I just wanted to ask you, because I thought it was really interesting when you said it's a status symbol.
Yeah.
Having a boyfriend. That to me was really interesting, because I've never thought about that in terms of a romantic partner. If you go date a celebrity or something, like that's like a status. But you just mean in general, a boyfriend to a woman is almost like status. Break that down for me and tell me why that feels foreign to me as a guy.
Okay. So we have the term trophy girlfriend.
Right.
Which is, or trophy
vibes.
Wife. Yeah. That having a hot wife, right?
Sorry, Bill. Like, I love you. Go Birds.
Go Birds, right?
Yeah, never mind.
Is he the Birds?
No.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
All good.
Okay. So yes. Sorry.
No. I
love baseball.
Rugby is my favorite sport.
Rugby guys. If there's a rugby guy listening, slide in here. I really love rugby, guys.
Thighs the size of tree trunks.
Oh my God. I do get, my algorithm, coming back to our listener question, is a lot of like men are bad and then hot rugby guys. I mean, this is a separate issue of like the way that we consume media in the short form algorithmic way is so bad for us.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
And it's corrosive. It's corrosive. And we often talk about the way that men are shaped by algorithms, the way that they are brought down rabbit holes and join very radical.
Are guys more prone to addiction or addictive?
Well,
do you know anything about those stats?
I do. So men are
I'm going to say
definitely
yes, but
more.
I'm assume you know.
Well, men are more likely to have addictions to hard substances, to be alcoholics, to act out. But women have other, are more likely to have eating disorders, for example, right? So it's not that one gender is more likely to have addiction or not, but it's the way it,
Status symbol.
But status symbol,
sorry,
yeah.
Just say,
No. We gotta stay on it. So I definitely think that it is a status symbol for men if the woman is really attractive or young, right? It's not just having a wife is cool. Like I actually think it's the opposite. If you look at sort of the patriarchal programming, it's like, oh, the old ball and chain, like, game over, you're married. Like, remember when Ryan Seacrest, I think about this once a week, Amal and George Clooney show up to like the Emmys or the Oscars or whatever, and it's their first time after they've been married, and Ryan Seacrest literally takes a shot, goes like, let's take a shot, like, and he's wearing a game over married shirt to Amal Clooney's face, as if there wasn't anything more extraordinary than getting to marry Amal Clooney. Like, are you kidding me?
So he was wearing a what?
Yeah, let me.
Did he say something about it?
Yes. Ryan Seacrest's awkward interview in 2015.
Yeah,
oh my God, this is so 2015.
This is feeling like it's not going to age well.
Yeah. 2015 was 1954. In 2015, a red carpet stunt pulled by Ryan Seacrest has been slammed as awkward and disrespectful. He pulled the newlyweds aside and presented them with a game over t-shirt, supposedly because he didn't get to congratulate them before the September wedding. So the camera then panned to the E-crew, who were all wearing shirts emblazoned with the logo, which featured a sad-faced man and a similar woman too. I mean, are you kidding me? So yeah, I think that is definitely just this stereotype. But when it comes, what do you want?
No,
to say?
that just reminded me. Did you see that clip that you might have even reposted it with Javier? Is it Bardem? Is that how you say his name?
Where he was, he was asked, what's it like to be the only man in the world that likes working with his wife? So is he married to
Penelope Cruz?
Literally,
like the actual,
your goddess.
Yeah.
I do think that for women, though, pulling a man, and the author of this article, published in Vogue, talked about this on the internet, that it used to be like, she talks about being a status symbol, that you pulled a man, that a man is loyal to you, right? It's this a badge of honor, and it means that you have more value as a woman. And I think that is totally still true. Like, if you look at
I gotta be honest with you.
What?
I didn't know if you were about to say that is totally bullshit or absolutely true. Like I was like, I had no idea where she's going with this.
What do you think?
I mean, well, keep going. I want to just hear your take first.
I just would argue that is not totally true. Like, I still think, if I look through, I'm single, so I'm just more.
No. You're married to the grind.
I'm married to the grind. Oh my God.
Is that so overused that was like the cringiest thing I've ever said?
I think I'm millennial, so I'm cringe by nature. So I wouldn't.
No, but you're like, you know all this stuff. You know all the stuff before the kids even know about it.
Oh, that's really nice. I think it's still such a status symbol. I see it on my Instagram. I mean, the soft launch, I see women post about getting married and getting engaged, and like, it's still.
It makes total sense to me that it is a status symbol because of exactly the reasons you just said. Right. Especially if we're all talking about there's a scarcity of like dateable guys. That makes sense. If that's the collective view, and then also if that's especially with women and wanting to be in relationships, and if they want to have kids or something, like I totally get that as a
it means you're wanted, and I think that's one of the reasons I do find it hard to be single. I think it's a dumb reason. I realize that it's not true, but I think in my when I'm lying in bed at night, sometimes I'll just be like, oh, like I feel like I wasn't chosen, or I feel like I'm not loved or I'm not worthy of love, and it's just not true. But I think women can go there easily, and society does. I mean, we degrade single women in a way that's like far different from the way that we degrade. We don't really degrade single men.
I will say this though, Liz, you could be chosen 100 times by the wrong guy, but how sweet is it going to be when you're chosen once by the right person?
That's right. That's right.
Being chosen is just whatever. It doesn't matter if it's not the right person.
And I think we have to acknowledge, or this helps me, it's literally the lottery. Finding the right partner is not that you've done, and I think this is where I don't want to do people in relationship slander, but I do think the way that sometimes people in relationships will talk to single people, it's as if they're better, and it can be very patronizing, as if they've like, that somehow because you're married or you're in a relationship, you're better at it. Yeah, you could be in a relationship, first of all, that, could not last, and everyone's status can change, right? I could be in a relationship tomorrow and you could be separating tomorrow, but it also is just not a measure of any
Absolutely
skill
not.
or
I agree.
worth
I mean,
or
think about it.
value.
You could have two really shitty people who are madly in love, and by the standard of the definition of what you just said, they won the lottery because they found each other.
Yes.
Two shitheads found each other, and now they're going to be happily ever after.
And then give you advice about how
you're so right. It has nothing to do with quality of you as a person or anyone. Not you. I'm just saying people in general.
When men are single, they don't go, oh, no one wants me. I feel like men internalize being single less than women do.
There's some influencers I follow online. I follow some like crazy accounts, like some of these like cringe accounts that are like real, like they're not like actually, like these people who are like so far out from my upbringing and cultural sphere that it's just like fascinating. And there's like, these people that are like cleaning up my house so that I have practice for my future wife. Some of these like Southern guys who are like really hot, and they're like just these like, and they make content every day, and it's just like this whole like bringing my Bible to church, like here's what I would wear if I had a wife, like this sort of the pick me thing or whatever.
Interesting.
But like, so I think that exists out there, but in a way that's more performative. Like I don't think it's so much like a deep at the end of the night they're going to the journal and being like, no one wants me. Although that is true, some people do, and I'm not saying I hate painting with a broad stroke, but overall, I do think, again, if we're just talking in the grand, if we're not talking data, we're just talking experiences and gut feeling. I think it's more women experience that feeling. Yeah. Because at least I know in my experience talking with women and guys, like if you talk about fear of commitment or something, usually that's a guy who told me that. Yeah. I really would love to explore that.
Well, we will explore that next time you're on the show. That's why everyone should go follow the show on Spotify, Apple, check it out on YouTube.
Let me know if I should go number 2 in Liz's bathroom in her room.
You know what? I love you so much. You could throw up in my bathroom.
No way.
Yeah.
Stop
and
it.
I would hold your hair.
Stop it.
I would do.
You would?
Would you okay, Nikki?
Oh no, I would never let you do that because I know how much you're afraid of.
No, I would totally clean up your throw up. Honestly, I'm like saying that
what?
really.
That's insane. I wouldn't clean up anyone's throw up.
No, I would.
Except I guess yours now because you said it.
You have to, or else it's you hate women. Okay, so yes, thank you so much for following the show. We love your comments. There's been so many sweet comments on our last episode with Padma Lakshmi and Asaran Mamadani. So my favorite comment actually probably ever, I pinned it. It was from Andrea, and she said, dream blunt rotation right here. And that was like the nicest.
Dream what?
Dream blunt rotation.
Blonde?
Blunt. Like dream, you don't know this expression? Like a blunt rotation, like best people to like be like share a doobie with. Yeah.
Doobie.
Yeah, which I thought was really funny.
I was told never to do drugs, so I never learned what those terms mean.
Wait, you've never done drugs?
No, I'm just kidding. Yeah.
And then Aaron LaChapelle said, Plank Mamdani 2028 icons. Oh my God. Sending this episode to everyone I know. Thank you so much, Aaron. Thank you to all of you for sharing the episode with your friends. It really makes a difference in that little nasty algorithm. We have no control over it, except you do. You have control. And the more people you send it to, the more comments you leave, the more you follow the show, the more people it can find, so that we can get rid of these, not get rid, but maybe like drown out some of the voices that are less helpful to people in this weird time that we are all alive. I'm so happy to be alive at the same time as you. All of you and Nick. Mostly.
That's actually really sweet.
I really am. Like, we could have never. It's
amazing. It's amazing that we're alive, that we exist.
It's pretty. Whatever
this is.
Whatever's happening, I'm into it, and I feel lucky to be surrounded by all of you. All of our cameras have died, so we're gonna have to go. I'm really sorry that we only answered one question. We will see you next week. We have a very special guest next week. His name is David Ferrier. He's a very in-demand guest, and he will be joining us, and we may or may not be eating pancakes in bed. So you're going to want to join for that. Oh my God.
I'm going to wear a little chef hat and a little apron. I'm going to walk in.
Can you make me pancakes topless?
Topless?
Yeah.
It's going to cost you some extra.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for being with us. Thank you, Nick.
I love you.
I love
everyone.
You
guys,
so much.
You guys have a great
Wait, take us out. Take us out with a song. Just an end card.
problems. Hope you had a really good time hanging out with me and Liz. Talked about OCD, talked about men, talked about